Or is going to be the biggest victory of his career?
Well, I'm not going to say it's the biggest victory of his career. I think that people like Guerrero fought him. I think that Alvarez was a better opponent. I believe that Alvarez was a better opponent. I believe that Guerrero was a good opponent. I believe that even the last guy he fought, Madonna, I think is better than him. All the way around. Hell yeah. Man, come on. Put Madonna and Pacquiao in the ring together and see what happens. After Floyd get through whooping his put him in there with Madonna and see what happens with him. Madonna's gonna rape him, take his clothes off in front of the 3,000 people in the house.
15.
Well, whatever.
Perhaps we as a society shouldn't be so hard on Floyd Mayweather Jr. After all, he did score a fair, square, and decisive win over Manny Pacquiao this weekend past in the mega fight that entertained millions of people around the world with a display of how boxing cowardice, skill, in spending most of the night running from an opponent made inferior, partly because of age and partly because he never had a real knockout punch in his kit bag, even when he was in his prime. Floyd Jr. is just like every other kid out there, product of his environment and his upbringing. And seeing as the man he has looked up to most of his life doesn't have 6 working brain cells to rub together after 35 pro fights and years spent around a sport where intelligence is measured in glove sizes rather than anything even remotely approaching double digits, maybe we should forgive Jr. for being a serial sexual abuser who believes the best way to treat women is to take his fists and pound them into submission when no one else is looking. After all, why should we expect more from a liar and abuser of women when even his dad, just a few weeks before the scam job from this weekend, was trash-talking the Pac-Man and smiling with empty-headed joy that a fighter by the name of Marcos Maidana wouldn't just defeat Pacquiao. No, he would rape him right there in the ring. But hey, this is just a brain-addled former small-time drug dealer who, according to legend, when Junior was only 2, held his son up by his ankles and used him as a human shield when a thug by the name of Baboon held a 20-gauge shotgun to Senior's eye level and threatened to kill him for doing him wrong in a deal. Hey, the man's had a tough life, so why should we be so upset when he casually tosses aside and jokes about rape? I mean, come on. Everybody knows something like that could never happen in a boxing ring, so this was all about spitting and trashing and being the big guy when the cameras are rolling, right? Not like anything so hysterical would ever lead one to believe that it could dribble down into that next generation, sort of like the oozing of those dead brain cells out of a convenient cranial orifice.
You are someone with a history of domestic violence yourself. You've even been to jail for it. Why should fans root for you with this kind of history?
Everything has been allegations. Nothing has been proven, so, that's life.
Well, I mean, the incident you went to jail for, the mother of your 3 children did show some bruising, a concussion when she went to the hospital. It was your own kids who called the police, gave them a detailed description of the abuse. There's been documentation.
Once again, no pictures, just hearsay and allegations. And I signed a plea bargain, so once again, not true.
But the website Deadspin recently detailed 7 separate physical assaults on 5 different women that resulted in arrest or citation. I mean, are we really supposed to believe all these women are lying, including the incidents when there were witnesses, like your own kids?
Well, everybody actually, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. When it's all said and done, only God can judge me.
Hey, so what's a little sexual abuse talk between dad and son, right? No big deal. Dad and boy have to bond, and like Junior says, no pictures of said abuse. Okay, so the courts have certified the abuse, but no pictures. And you suckers reached into your wallets and coughed up, in some cases, tens of thousands of dollars to watch him dance and prance his way around a ring so he could make enough cash to bail out Suge Knight, another of those misunderstood young men who, as we all know, would never use his car to run a guy over in a dispute based on years of drugs and gangbanging. Hey, for those who spent their money and attended the fight or watched it at home, maybe in a bar somewhere, how does it feel to know you helped funnel bucks into the bank account of a serial sexual abuser, arrested 7 times against 5 women, 2 of whom are mother to 4 kids? A guy who grabbed the mother of 3 of his kids by the hair, struck her on the back of the head with a closed fist, and threatened to kill her, all with 2 of their kids watching. Did you have a good time? Enjoy yourself? Good for you. Hey, bad apples never really fall far from bad trees, and people like you just drop the soil to keep those trees growing. Trees my dogs are smart enough to not even urinate on. That's my opinion, telling it like it is. Rock on, true believers. See you back here tomorrow. We'll kick Friday into gear on the fastest 60 minutes in news talk.